There we go. Now that I have your attention, it's always a good way to start. It's like the mule that won't go anywhere. You have to take a 2x4, whack him between his eyes, get his attention, then you get him to go. We'll talk a little bit more about the helmet a little bit later. But it's always good to get attention. Now, the only thing you need to write down or photograph or remember is gogoinnovate.com. That's my new website. It's got all the slides on here. It's a whole different functionality. I tried to innovate a way to interact with everybody and create ideas to innovate. And the site will develop. It'll be a chat room type to start, and then I plan to branch that out so that we can all get online. Anybody can get online. We can have conversations about how do we innovate? How do we do it better? How do we make it more exciting? How do we sell more? So gogoinnovate.com. All right, in my office in Circleville, I have a picture of Einstein, not this one, but imagination is more important than knowledge. It really is. It starts with imagination. The knowledge is there. Thomas Edison once said he was criticized because he wasn't very good at math, and his response was, I can hire a mathematician, but a mathematician can't hire me. Very important. So you've got to have imagination to innovate, but that's only a small part of it. There's the picture of what I have on my wall. A little more sedate, but imagination is more important than knowledge. Remember that. Now, Einstein, famous for E equals mc squared. He started out with his special theory of relativity, which led to the general theory of relativity. I think he got close on the unified theory of relativity, but, you know, this is energy equals mass times the speed of light squared. You do that, you split the atom, you get an atom bomb, okay? Simple, straightforward, elegant, but there's a lot of complexity, layers of complexity. World War II, the American government spent $2 billion to develop the atom bomb, several thousand people out in the desert. They innovated, they invented, but a lot was involved, and a lot of was dealing with levels of complexity. Figure out the complexity, learn how to deal with it. All right, for the math challenged, don't worry, there won't be a test, and you don't have to come up with a number. So we've got Einstein's E equals mc squared, right? Now, I is innovation. I sub 1 is innovation. To get innovation, you have to have I sub 2, which is imagination. You multiply that times people. People is very important. To the x. I didn't say to the nth because even with my wild imagination, I can't get out to the nth. Okay, not many math majors here. All right. So, innovation, imagination, people. Yeah, imagination, coming up with an idea. How can I do it better? A lot of invention, a lot of innovation is not a sole inventor or a sole academic or a sole person sitting on a mountaintop or sitting in a room. It's walking, it's talking, it's interacting. As a business person, I find my customer's pain, take away that pain. You know, and a lot of times a customer doesn't know they have pain. They've just been dealing with it so often they don't realize they have a pain. So you have to figure that out. A couple of good examples are Henry Ford. Said, Henry Ford, what kind of market research did you do? Did you ask your customers what they wanted? He said, no, if I asked my customers what they wanted, they'd have said, I want a faster horse. He took it to the next level. He took a carriage and put a motor on it. It evolved, it evolved, it evolved. Steve Jobs, customers don't know what they want until they see it, and that's so true. But you have to use your imagination. You have to talk to your customer. Watch your customers work. You can find that pain. Now, best definition I ever heard of imagination, the ability to see what's already there. Think about it. Where did the iPhone come from? Steve Jobs' imagination. Where did the Model T Ford come? So on. Leonardo da Vinci. Wow. Read a book on him. There's a great book, How to Think Like Leonardo da Vinci. That'll bend your mind a little bit. Now, my employees had one of our artists draw an arrow with me on the tip and a whip going, faster, faster, and then had some employees hanging on the back giving me a hand signal because I kept saying, faster, faster. I mean, really, let's go, faster. And that is how Einstein came up with his theory of relativity. He imagined himself on the point of an arrow and then going faster than the speed of light. Initially, he got the Doppler effect. That's the train. You know, you're on a train, you hear the ding, 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 and you pass it, go, no, 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 because the shorter wave, the longer wave. Not a lot of physics students here tonight. Okay. But to innovate, you really need to look and study those things. It's amazing where answers and innovation will come from. I love pretending I'm the customer because it will give you a different insight. I like to think of myself as a product. You ever get that product you cannot figure out how to make it work and the instructions are just horrible? Uh-huh. So just step back, step by step. Will it work? What am I missing? Take it out to customers. Here, make it work. And step back and see if it is intuitive, if they can make it work. And it really makes it easier, doesn't it? Friend of mine, so she's not thrown anything yet, but she might. All right, conventional wisdom usually is not. Just day before yesterday, a writer in the London Financial Times says, eventually, conventional wisdom is wrong. And that's a good starting point. When you hear somebody say conventional wisdom, aha, chance to innovate because it's probably wrong. So if you could get it right, you can make money, you could solve a problem, you can make the world a better place. Now, my employees will tell you, I don't like conference rooms. They kill me. I don't like meetings. I'm a walk around, a doer, a talk, this do stuff. Right, Cheryl? All my senior managers are here tonight. My wife came. Dr. Van Scoik from Purdue. That was an accident, but thanks, George and Jane, for coming. Appreciate it. Makes me feel a lot more important. See, a guy from Purdue came to see my presentation, right? We got Xavier here, all right. But just remember, keep it moving, talk to people, interact. Number one creativity killer, you can't do that. Oh yeah? That's a catalyst. Just being told you can't do that, like get out of the way. That bottom there, again, these slides are available on gogoinnovate.com. So just put it in your mind, think what's he saying is crazy, put the thought in your mind, let it get in there and percolate, start thinking about it. The bottom one is so true. We are most creative when we are most constrained because we a lot of times don't have the tools, we don't have the money, we don't have the materials, or what we want to do is not invented yet. So we've got to come up with it. So being constrained is really a great catalyst for innovation. It makes you go back to what's not there and invent something to make it happen. Like in the finance world, CDOs. Yeah, that didn't work out so well, but you know. Now, a big productivity killer, a big innovation killer, a big thing, employees don't like it. It really disgruntles employees. That says management on the top and it says employees on the bottom. And for you, those out there who were born after 1980s, that's a porta-john. That's the old-fashioned, it was called an outhouse because it was out behind the house. But anyway, you don't want to do that. Employees really don't like that setup in their restroom. There you have it. Kills morale, kills productivity, kills innovation. Do not do this. You're working with somebody or a manager that's doing that, get him to wise up. It doesn't help anybody to be HUA. There is a way, help the guy find his way into the world. Find that customer's pain. Our salespeople, I try to teach them, sales is 90% listening. Listening, interjecting the right question at the right time, listening, make a comment to lead that customer to a solution. If you've got something to help them, that's great. If you don't, if you know somebody that has a product that will help them solve the problem, you do that. And again, pain may not be obvious. You have to look, you have to sense. It's different. It's something you have to learn. I don't think there's any courses in that, but it's very important. It may not be obvious, but you do have to be prepared to do something nobody else wants to do. For example, going through life, you're going to find all kinds of strange problems, painful problems, like just be glad you aren't the turtle. But the point is, you're going to find some very unusual, difficult, painful situations. How are you going to solve it? You've got to innovate a solution. Of course, we're into big data, all kinds of mathematics. So we're tracking results. It could be surveys, but if you get locked into that, you're going to miss customers' pain. You're going to miss some innovation because you're so focused on tracking your results. Maybe you got a boss that wants results. Maybe you got a grant. That's important. But look up. If you don't look up, you can see what could happen. Not only that, you might be missing a very easy solution. Yeah. Now, that's the cockpit of a Boeing 777. My employees got that. It's a mural. It's in my office in Circleville. My employees got that from my, what, Cheryl, 15 years ago? Mid-90s? And because I'm a pilot, and they know I like that kind of stuff, but there's something very important about the Boeing 777, which was developed in the late 70s, early 80s. It's a great airplane. They're still making them, still flying them. That entire plane was designed with CAD, computer-aided design. They integrated that into CAM, computer-aided manufacturing. They developed, for example, when they would do landing gear, they never knew for sure until they made prototype parts whether there would be enough clearance for all the hydraulic cylinders. Would there be enough clearance? With this CAD, you can articulate. You could show the landing gear moving, all the parts retracting. So you reduced your prototyping time, your proof of concept. You reduced the amount of errors that you had to fix when you went to the manufacturing process. And because it was all by the computer code went to a digital lathe, to a digital milling machine. So you didn't have to have a skilled machinist. Well, you still need a skilled machinist, but the time to set that lathe up, that machine up, change the tools, it's now reduced like by 90%. It's amazing. I love it. It's a wonderful technology. Another interesting thing they did, they asked the maintenance man, fixing a problem on a jet, what are some of your big issues? One of the big issues on commercial airliners of that date, it took a certified airplane mechanic 40 minutes to change a light on the exit sign over the door. And you can't fly if that exit sign is not working. So why does it take so long to change that bulb? They fixed it. Boom. Now it's just like pop out, pop in, you're done, you're ready to go. That seems like common sense, doesn't it? But it's overlooked. Use your imagination. Talk to people. The cockpit, guess what? The engineers went to pilots. What would you like to see in a cockpit? And if you look at a cockpit of, say, one of the first 747s, the 837, some of your other planes, amazingly different. I only have to reach here to do this. Not this while I'm flying a plane. Truly spectacular. Do a little research on it. Bang it, Google it. But it's amazing what we're doing now with CAD, CAM, and computers that you just could not do before. I've worked my whole life to be able to provide my customers made-to-order custom products at the same price or just a little bit more than what you buy a standard product for. Now, like what you saw, the stainless steel tables that go up and down on the walls that they showed you, that was made not only with skilled employees, but the design was done on a computer. You got to see the pictures of it. Then on 3D printers, we made they worked, didn't they? The legs worked, everything worked. Even the little screw table worked. So the customer gets a good idea. You save a lot of time. You translate it into a finished product. We can do so much now with today's technology. We literally are only limited by our imagination. And I got a lot of history with that term, we are only limited by our imagination. Not only with Mr. Einstein, but I had the dubious pleasure of going through infantry officers school at Fort Benning, Georgia. We call it Benning School for Boys. Well, I got a problem of talking before I think. It was late at night. TAC officer had me in his office. He had my heels locked together. He had my nose in his face. And I said, "Sir, Candidate Sharpe, you can't do that to me." I should have kept my mouth shut. He put his nose on mine and says, "Candidate Sharpe, the only thing that limits what I can do to you is my imagination." I'm going, oh, it's going to be a long. Oh, boy. Now, in my office, where you can see the helmet, there's the 800-pound gorilla. It's got the marketing genius cap on top. It's got some wine. My office is, I like it innovative. Okay. Now, one thing about innovation, especially you young folks here, texting, emails, nobody calls anymore, voicemail, oh, geez, that's so inconvenient. Now, you got to shut that thing off. If you work in an environment where you have cubicles, you can't shut your door. Even if you do have a door, people open it, walk in. Now, let me tell you something. You're sitting in your chair, you're sitting at your table, your computer, and you just want some time to take a snooze. Very conductive to innovation, it really is. You want to be left alone. Trust me. Put this on. Sit there. If they walk in or turn around the corner and see you wearing that, you will have all the private time you want. But take private time. And we all learn differently. We all think differently. For example, there's research that shows a lot of creativity, a lot of innovation comes from people walking. There are other people who have a combination of kind of pacing the office and sitting in their chair. You have to find out what works for you. But you have to have time. You got to shut the smartphone off, the tablet off, the computer off. Like in either of my offices, when an email comes in, my computer doesn't ding because then I can't concentrate. Oh, there's another email. Or I let the thing go blank, let the screensaver come up. If you're studying, shut off the email, work on, then turn the email back on. The world will not end. I just ruined your life. You didn't know that. Okay. Now, this is a piece of artwork in my office. Doesn't show too well, but that's a laptop. Artist friend of mine, he died last year, God rest his soul. His wife's an artist. We were there. We wanted some of his wife's paintings. And I couldn't get away from this because her husband, Philip, he was a famous boat builder, furniture designer and builder. And so one day he had it with this computer. He got his shotgun. I even had the empty shells are even part of this. And you know, come on, who hasn't want to? You know, you can't escape. You can't Control, Alt, Delete. Nothing's working, right? So I'm admiring it. So we're getting ready to leave, and Philip comes up and says, "Gary, we just want to have you know, you're a good customer. We've known each other a long time. We want you to have this as a gift." So fine, took it home. I found out later I'm the only one that liked it, and they were glad to get it out of the studio. But, you know, saved me $500 or whatever, right? Now, talking about layers of complexity, and you students, I'm sure you've run into it in your courses, you businessmen out there all the time. Layers of complexity, like shipping hazardous substances. But you break through those layers, you manage those layers, you find experts that teach you how to do it. Then you improve on it. You're creating a competitive barrier. You're making sure those products are shipped safely, so we're making the world a little bit better every day by doing things right, doing them better. But look for complexity, and there will be layers. You'll get through one layer, you think you have it. No, there'll be the next. You have to manage it. People, it's about people. You've got engineers, you've got finance people, you've got technical people. They all have to help you. All have to come together, think, talk, create. You've got to use your imagination. I'm looking at this complexity thing. If you're visual, you might paint it as a picture. Now, you know, people learn 3 different ways. Some people are visual. You got to see it. You read it, You've got to have a picture of it. It's visual. You've got to see it happen. Other people are oral. You have to hear it. Now, hearing it also is learning by talking. Unfortunately for my employees, I have to talk to learn. Yeah, right? Yeah, okay. And the other is kinesthetic. You have to do it. Your mechanics, your athletes, your artists, sculpting, you learn kinesthetically, your muscles. And it may vary a little bit more here, more there, but those are the 3 ways to learn. And that's key as you're inventing. You're working with Bill, you know he's oral. You're working with Susan, you know she's visual. So you learn that about people, and that's how you communicate this. I hired a young man once. He was a customer's son. She says, why don't you hire my son? Well, tell him about it. He was very inventive, top mechanic, model maker, the whole thing. He was failing in college. I talked to him. I hired him. Now, she had told me he was dyslexic, all right? So we're working together. As long as we're talking or sketching, we're fine. And I noticed he didn't respond to emails too much. But one day we were going somewhere in the car. I said, here, check this out. It was written. He's reading it out loud. I go, well, what are you doing? He says, this is how I can read it. I convert what I'm seeing into words. I hear the words I'm saying. Now I understand it. Boy, did I learn a lot with that little thing. So I knew not to email him. Left him voicemails. Bingo! Solved his problem, solved my little things. Imagination, innovation. This is an old Russian proverb. When you're green, you're growing. When you're not, you're rot. Man, you got to move forward. You cannot stay static. And in the business world, if you aren't growing your sales, growing your profit, improving your product, coming out with new product, you're going to go out of business. It's that simple. It's like Xavier University. To stay in business, you have to have students want to come here, want to give you their money to come here. So you have to say, hey, I go there because I know I got a much better chance of getting a job. I'm going to have a better education. I can get out there and make the world a better place. What's singing nation? Set the world on fire, right? Those great Jesuit values. So always grow. I don't care what your age is, what you're doing. Make an attempt to grow, to learn. This is really important too. Einstein's definition was stupid, was doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. No, if it's not working, don't do it. If it is working, well, by all means, keep doing it, but look for ways to make it better. As you're doing stuff, put on different hats. If I were an artist, if I were an actor, if I were a musician, if I were an electrical engineer, if I were a salesman, if I were an accountant, if I was a computer programmer, how would I look at that? From different angles. One thing we're working on our company is I'm looking for a product online, right? Here's one crappy picture of it. And then you click on to see it run, and you get this boom, baba, boom, and the thing's running, it's like, and you can't see what's happening. I'm going, please, you're wasting your money and my time. Like on our website, I wanted you to be able to rotate this, make the door work, make the drawer work, here's how you adjust it here. All available on the website. Just look at it all different ways. You're writing a paper. If I'm my professor and I'm reading this paper, what's he going to think? What grade am I going to get? Just saying. And then you say, I bet he's used to getting this answer and this answer and this answer. But I read this, I read that, I looked that up. I'm going to throw a little spice in here and give the professor something to think about. Okay, now we got it going. The professor's going to be happy because you're thinking and you're going to get a better grade. They still give grades? Yeah. But I do all kinds of things to get my imagination going when I'm trying to solve a problem. I walk, I don't use earphones. The sound of my telephone's off. I walk, and I look, and I listen, and I smell, and things happen. In the evening, take a little time, think about what you're working on, go to bed. It's amazing what the subconscious does while you're asleep. I also take a word or a definition of what I'm working on, I turn around. What's the anonym? What's the synonym? They don't call it homonyms anymore. What is it? Homophone? What? It used to be I graduated just after the Jurassic period, and it was homonyms. Words that sound the same that mean... Okay, thank you. You validated me. All right. Same way with pictures. If it's a photograph, what did the photographer do? Like Ansel Adams. Oh my God, it's fantastic. If it's Venus de Milo, it's the statue of David in Florence. If you get a chance, go. Go to Rome, go to Paris, go to the Louvre, and it's just amazing. But these are all the things I do when I'm looking to create a marketing program, create a sales pitch, solve a problem for a customer, create a new product, make it better, make it cheaper, better, faster, add quality. You know, if you're designing something in the design world, form should follow function. Why? What do you want it to look like? Look at Steve Jobs. Here's what I think a cell phone should be and should do. Then they made it happen. Just saying. Define it, then build, start building. I do that all the time, right, Jeff? Make me one of these, do that. Gary was in today. Give me a beer, dear, when he gets home. Is that right? Remember, conventional wisdom using it. Turn it around in your mind. You need to find out what works for you to innovate. If you want to be a great basketball player and you just try to copy Michael Jordan and Kobe Jackson, okay, you'll do that, but you've got to create your own style. If you're a musician and you're a clarinetist, you've got to create your own thing to make it happen. If you're an artist, well, I'm going to copy Monet. Is that really your style? Will that set you out in the art world to sell your art? That's right. If you're in art and you want to sell your art, you got to figure out how to sell it. Mm-hmm. Maybe a business course or two, art major, drama majors, your plays. All right, what's that? First cup man had was his hands. As man evolved over the centuries, he found clay and made pots and cups. Then it became more sophisticated, right? So these are cups without handles. Then we figured out how to put a handle on them. One on the right, typical, mass-produced. One in the middle, artistic, very neat. How did the artist who made that, come up with? That is really a neat handle. Works left or right handed. It's got a beautiful design. Fantastic. Where's the handle on the one on here? The handle's right here. How did the art, that's a little distorted, but that's the handle. It's concave. Now, this is a left-handed mug. You can buy them right-handed and you can buy them left-handed. One of the things is I'm traveling around doing museums and symphonies and the theater and storefronts. Store dressing is an art form. Check it out next time you're downtown or at the mall. So we were on vacation at Beaufort, North Carolina, and a little seaside vacation town. They have some of the greatest arts and crafts. They got tacky souvenirs. But I'm here, I'm going to buy one. And I said, no, I won't. I'm predominantly left-handed. I said, no. My wife says, you don't want those. I didn't realize she'd bought one for me for Christmas. But now, there's the left-handed. And the artist that designed this mug wanted to do it because she lived up north, where it's cold up here, wanted to keep her hands warm while she had her coffee. Now, there's how you use it right-handed. I love it. It's one of the two mugs that I showed you. These are my two favorite coffee mugs, just so you know. But look at the design element. Those artists used their imagination to come up with these two different. How do you innovate a coffee mug? These people did it. How would you do it? Think about it. Some innovations are obvious. Okay, we got a lot of art majors in here. All right, now we're cooking. You remember I said nothing's impossible, right? I got a challenge for you students. Nothing's impossible, right? I got one for you. Dribble football. Now, here's the challenge. You have a witness, faculty witness, and a video over here at the Cintas Center. If you can dribble a football to the bankboard without, dropping it, missing it, have it go off. If you can dribble it from center court to the backboard, straight dribble, no mess-ups, I'll put $10,000 in my endowed scholarship here. Now, if you can, you got a choice at that point. You can go for a bank shot. If you can bank shot that football through the hoop, I'll put another $10,000 in the scholarship fund, okay? But here's the deal. If you'd make it to the bankboard dribbling that football, you got a choice. You can stop there and take the 10, or you can go for the bank shot and get 20, but if you miss the bank shot, it's over. No, don't get it, just like a TV game show. So now, there is a way to do it. I found out what it was at Sunday brunch, but I'm not going to tell you. Former basketball player from Ohio State told me at lunch. I said, when you hear nothing's impossible, he goes, yeah. I said, dribble a football. He says, I can. Our coach made us do it to get a feeling for the ball. Oh, okay. See, nothing is impossible, but that's a challenge. And some of you do it. I want to know how you did it, because that's the process of inventing. How did you imagine a way to do it? Did you research a way to do it? That's another way. Now, this product here is a cord detangler. I was in Saudi Arabia, up at a major hospital in Al Khobar, up on the Persian Gulf. Had a big meeting with all the staff. The head of the ICU nurse says, "You got a minute?" I says, "I sure do." He says, "Come up to the ICU with me." My nurse has spent uncountable wasted time untangling the leads on a 12-lead EKG and a 12-lead EEG. Now, a 12-lead EKG only has 10 lines, but it's called a 12-lead. Mysteries of the world. They come up with something that makes it easy to untangle these lines, control these cords. I got back to my hotel that night. I sketched it out on a piece of paper. One of my engineers back at the office had this pretty well squared away by the time we got back. Hasn't sold real well, but it works. So, all right. Back in the mid-'80s, it was one of the first bioengineered pharmaceuticals. It's called TPA. It's a clot buster. You had a heart attack, you inject this, it breaks up the clot in the heart. You have a stroke, you inject it, breaks up the clot in the brain. Cost about $250 for a pre-filled syringe. They were putting in the refrigerator out on the units and down in the ER and up in the ICU, and guess what? They disappeared. $250 a pop, all over disappearing. Customer says, "Gary, I got a problem. These things are disappearing. Give me something to lock." It had to be refrigerated. Give me something to lock it up. Fine. I didn't have my own steel shop at that time, so I went to the local guy. I said, "Make me this top. I've got the locks. Here's how I want to put it to the wire racking in the refrigerator." I got that little red box in stock, or different colors, whatever the customers wanted. Box was about $3. The lock was about $3. For 10 of those stainless steel, it was $125 a piece. So you're looking at $125 plus $6, $131 in cost. So got those prototypes in. We're getting ready to launch the marketing. "What are you going to price it?" I said, $49. They said, "Whoa! It's costing us $130, and you're going to price it at that?" And I go, "Yeah, because they won't buy it at $130. "Well, how are you going to make any money?" And I go, "I went to the guy. If I buy 100, my cost is $25 for the stainless steel part. Do the math. 25 plus, we got $31. I'm going to sell it for $49. It turned out to be such a good product. So one of my competitors took the picture I had in my catalog, copied it, and put it in his catalog. I really don't think copying is a form of flattery. I'd rather have the profit. Okay, hospitals today have these $40,000 automatic drug and supply dispensing machines. Sometimes you don't need that. There's a $40 product. Is that about right, Gail? About $40 for that. You drill a hole across the metal lip. You drill a hole in the plastic and you put a breakaway seal through there. So for about $50, you got a replacement for a $50,000 machine. We still sell some of those, Gail? Okay, this is a good one. I decided about a year and a half ago I was going to start a custom order label, custom label, short run, fast print, ship in 5 working days or less. We've been highly successful here in the U.S. with this. One of the few people can turn around that fast, all different sizes, all different colors, great packaging. So, getting ready to set this up in England. I've already got a company over there. I decided I'm just going to phase it in there. So, one of the pieces of equipment is called a slitter rewinder. Basic one here in the U.S., it's a skilled operation. Even my skilled employees don't particularly like it, but that's it. And it costs $20,000. Okay, another $10,000 to change the electrics to 220 AC in Europe. Another $5,000 to get it certified for the British electrical system. So I'm looking at $35,000 for a machine that's hard to operate. I had this idea. I went to one of my engineers and I said, put something to hold the roll-on of the printed labels so it'll rotate, and then create where the razor blades go that slit this down. I said, we've got about 5 or 6 different sizes. Make me a separate one for each size so you don't have to mess around changing the blade like you do on the other machine. And I said, put a little hand crank on the side, and because our volume will be low over there to the start. And you see this one right here. By golly, he came up with it. I said, what's the electric do? He says, that hand cranking was a problem, especially you're doing a whole row crank. He says, one of the people here said, why don't you just take a flexible shaft and hook it up to a drill, an electric drill from Lowe's. Brilliant. Now that's innovation, folks. A lot of people putting their mind to it. Okay, we took it to the label shop and said, test it. They didn't want to give it back. So, okay, we made them for our people. It's really great. But the people in our shop in Circleville said, I really don't like this machine. Can you make one of these for our full, what are they, 8-inch rolls, 12-inch rolls, whatever they are? Brian did. This one's got a real motor on it, like a real machine, but it's really cool, and it works, and it's simple to use, and employees love it. That is innovation, but it's about people bringing in different ideas. Started with a clean sheet of paper. I didn't want to make it like that $20,000 machine. It's expensive, it doesn't work well. Let's do it better. Fail fast, fail cheap. Yep, Mythbusters, failure. I love that show. Failure is always an option. Go for it. Try it. Now, my employees will tell you, I walk around, I probably even say it in my sleep. The year Babe Ruth set the home run record, he set the strikeout record. Point, you got to swing at the ball to hit it. Get out there. Try it. Play around with ideas you have. All right. Fail fast, fail cheap. All right. So don't do it, Gary. I did Xavier MBA market research. This is what the customer wants. We don't want it to look like a piece of industrial equipment or some strange medical Frankenstein. We want it to look like an elegant piece of furniture for our crash carts, our anesthesia carts, our isolation. We want it to be quiet. We want it to be safe. We want it to be durable. All right, I did all those things. It's also all thermoform plastic, foam-filled, pneumatic tires that we filled with foam. This go, no noise, right down the hallway. Colossal failure. I mean, this is my $500,000 failure. Okay, failure is an option. Learn from it. Ebola came up. So instead of expensive aluminum tools, Jeff's guys made it out of wood. What, a couple days? Messing around. Put it on a thermoformer. Bingo. Now, this thing ships flat, goes together with plastic push rivets. Take it down, push the rivets out, or clip them off with a wire clipper. You can then completely sanitize it, disinfect it, and throw it away. It's only $99. Or sanitize it, put it back in the box, and wait for the next emergency. Also works in our local hospitals when you have a big incidence of flu, hospital gets overwhelmed. It happens, and you've got patients on gurneys in the hallway. Where do you put their supplies? Here you go, $99. Healthcare logistics, shipped same day. Oh, ad. Now, as you're innovating, Talk to salesmen. They know stuff you don't. And if a salesman doesn't bring you any ideas, doesn't help you solve your problems, grow your business, okay, then you might not want to talk to him. But this makes the point, because I am a salesman, so any angle I can get to get in, so. Now, this is from a book, Stan Davis. Came out in the 80s, about the same time as, I forget his name, he's going away, but the point is this is true. You've got to keep thinking, where's the market going? Where can we do it better? Why do we have to do it at all? But you've got to keep going. You've got to keep up. You've got to try new things. Now, in this day and age, you get behind, you could be out of business. Oops. I love this. Henry Ford, and it's true. If you think you can or cannot do something, you're right. My favorite Henry Ford story, besides I didn't ask my customers because they said a faster horse. He wanted a V8 engine. Engineers said, you cannot engineer and make a V8 engine. So one day he called his engineers in and he says, I want a V8 engine. He said, we told you can't make one. He says, you've got 6 weeks to deliver to me a working V8 engine. Guess what? Or you're fired. He had his V8 engine. I remember I used to work on them. That's how old I am when I in high school working in the filling station. This is a nice engine. Still is. Again, find the weird part of your brain. Just kind of all kinds of ideas. And this is my favorite. This was this was his entire speech at an event. Never, 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 never give up. That was it. Cool. I hope he got a lot of money for that. I mean, that's a high return on your investment. Now, a lot of the things right here I do put in my mind to innovate, get my imagination going. Fortunately, my wife likes to do museums. We like to do theater. We like to do musicals. And these people are so creative. Their set designs, the music, how they put the costumes, how they put all this together. I love museums. It's just absolutely amazing. I read all kinds of trade journals, computer, chemical engineering. Anything is just like, how do they do that? I can't tell you how many products I've invented on the back of an old envelope or on a napkin. Sketching. Sometimes I'll just sit down and I got an idea, I just start making sketches. There's just so many, again, retail. Don't discount what's in a retail store. How they present those products, the spacing so it's not crowded, the proper display. The only one thing I know about retail is if it's not on the shelf, it's not going to sell. But on the shelf, it's got to get your attention. So those of you in the business school majoring retail, there's my advice. If it's not on the shelf, it won't sell. Bull stations, I think, are very important. Two people I rely on is Mr. McCallum. He's a Scotsman. The elder, 18-year-old, is I like better than the younger, the 12-year-old. Cigars, Mr. Davidoff, the French tobacco magnate. Mr. Davidoff, Mr. Padron, the Cuban. I like him, but learn what works for you. Try different things. I do this. I take a blank piece of paper. Now, the fancy thing these days is mind mapping. I didn't realize that I've been doing it for years. If I'm thinking on something, I want to design a new product, or if I want to come up with a new selling pitch, a new marketing copy, I just start writing what's in my mind. That leads to the next, and the next, and the next, and then you go back and you start filling in, and you redo, and all of a sudden, interesting things start to happen. All right, I matrix stuff. It's a mini Rubik's Cube. So I'm mixing and matching and seeing where I can get a spark. Here is the 4 things that I matrix a lot. Sales and marketing, finance, administration, production, law, logistics, invent, innovative. And I'll matrix those against the other. Can I finance it? Can I produce it? Can we ship it? Can we sell it? Can we market it? Can we invent it? Well, yeah, we can, because I do know you can dribble a football, but I challenge you. Now, if you're really energetic, take a Rubik's Cube, And make yourself little stickers with different signs, symbols, words to get your imagination going. You turn it, you twist it, you turn it, you twist it. As you can see, what you learn in Marketing 101, you probably still teach this, the 4 Ps: product, price, promotion, and place. The new, and think about this, you probably won't see it in the textbook, do this: customer service, message, product. Now, matrix that against product, price, promotion, place, and it's amazing what starts popping into your mind. All right, I'm almost done. Yay. But I did my MBA here. You did the core courses. Then you could specialize in marketing, management, finance, operations, and accounting. I chose management because it was a mystery to me. Dr. Camilli was my advisor, and he was really good pointing me in different directions as I was trying to figure out what is management. I wrote that paper, got a good grade on it. That was unusual. So a few years ago, I stumbled onto this. I reread it, and I said, it worked. This is what I've done my whole life. I got a copy of it for you tonight. It'll fit in your shirt pocket. It's got a place in the back for notes. But I'll tell you the only thing you need to know in this book: get people to talk to each other. I do that every day. Talk to each other, talk to each other, talk to each other. It's amazing what happens, especially in this day and age of texting and emails. People won't walk around the corner of the cubicle to talk to each other. Just talk to each other. You know, break down those silos. It's amazing. You shock people. You knock on their door. Hey, I want to talk about this. What? And you get a discourse going back and forth that you don't get in email. That's what this book is all about. Break that down. You really want to make a project happen, it starts with the loading dock, through shipping, through manufacturing, through engineering, through mid-level management, through executive management. You all have to know what's going on. You all have to be on the same page. Wonderful things starts happening. Oh, little tweak here, little tweak there. It gets better and better and better. GoGoInnovate.com. It's set up for you to communicate with me. It's got a chat room feature. It's got different features that aren't fully active. Okay, some evening you're bored, you got your studying all done, you're going to ace your test. Hop on that. Play around with it. Might help you with a stage setting. It might help you to innovate on an accounting problem. It might help if you're in health services administration, nursing, you know, well, why hasn't somebody been doing this? Why hasn't somebody been doing that? I got this idea, how do I finance it? So a lot of times that's a big killer. Where do I get the money to do it? I can't tell you how often I've used duct tape and cardboard to get the concept, but it works. Now you got 3D printers, and I got people that do that. Oh, life's good. That's what the front page looks like. Now, you remember the little steel ball things where you, on one end, click. Yeah. Kurt, thank you. I sent Kurt an email. I said, I want this new website. Give me some names that are available, and here's what I want in it. It was like 8 words, and he goes, Gary, could you be a little more specific? I go, oh, well, okay. So I did. I tried to write to you what I wanted, and Kurt and Joey pretty well nailed it. Teamwork. Thank you all for coming. Again, go to that site. You can communicate with me. We've got a chat room we can get going all over. And when you leave tonight, we've got the rubber chicken. I'm famous for my rubber chicken. We give away about 5,000 a year. We got one there. We got one there. I'll tell you how that happened. You got to have a little luck, right? I never had any money when I started. I had to do my own photography, my own pay stuff, everything. I finally had enough money, and we were getting pretty good in the crash carts, you know, resuscitation carts in the hospital. I could hire a professional photographer. So, oh boy, it's all set up. Take the picture. Great. Went through editing, went through printing, got mailed. Phone's ringing off the hook. What's with the rubber chicken in the crash cart drawer? Is this some type of new resuscitation method? Some wise ass went to the prop room, Plopped that in the drawer. Nobody saw it. Phone's ringing off the hook. We went with it. So I got a rubber chicken for you. Don't like your roommate? Whap! So thank you for coming. Again, if we can help you, we can work together on innovating. But again, innovation is a mindset. Develop your own way to come up with new ideas. Your imagination and working with other people, with other skills, other ideas. Wow, we're going to make the world a better place every day. Thank you.